Hi, I'm a trainer and consultant specialising in dealing with difficult, disturbing and dangerous behaviour, and this video is based on my book, Facing Danger in the Helping Professions. You can find out more about the book at facingdanger.com, order it from Amazon, or learn more about our specialised training at dangerousbehaviour.com. Welcome back for part 2. If you haven't already watched part 1, I would strongly advise that you do so now before continuing further. Each psychotic crisis is different, and you will only be able to use the Psychosis Containment Skills appropriately if you've understood how they apply to each specific situation. For the purposes of this video, I will be assuming that we are talking about situations where the aggressor is already in a full-blown or florid psychotic state. Situations where we are able to spot the emergence of a psychotic state allow for early action, which is well covered elsewhere. On arriving at the scene, the first and most obvious thing to do is to remove bystanders. This will be important whether or not we're dealing with psychotic material, but especially so in this case owing to the client's increased need for space, their difficulties in focusing and filtering incoming stimuli, and the potential for confusion and possible catastrophic reactions. Next, assuming we have a few moments, we should check if their behaviour is driven by the psychosis or by the emotion. Refer back to part 1 if you're unsure about this. If it is the emotion that is driving the behaviour, then we should use the skills for reactive aggression. See Facing Danger in the Helping Professions. Otherwise, we need to begin peeling away the layers of dangerousness associated with the psychosis. If the behaviour is very fast moving, we will have little or no time to think, in which case the rapid reaction skills, again refer to the book, will take precedence. In most cases, however, we have a few moments to orient ourselves to the crisis. Having removed the bystanders, we should have our colleagues out of sight but at hand. They can be keeping an eye out for us, preventing any unsolicited intrusions, and gathering information from the bystanders. Our next task is to focus their attention, and indeed it is pointless to attempt anything else until this has been achieved. This is best done by repeatedly calling out their name if known, or otherwise hello, or sir, or madam, but no more. Remember from the book, the creed is always, you must always do something, not more, less, but always something. This will have to be done loudly, not shouting, but loud enough to break through, and with concern. Physical gestures and movements should be kept to a minimum throughout. Only if there are clear indications that the person is aphasic or does not speak the same language should gestures be used. Our aim is to reduce the number of sensory inputs the person has to process. If the crisis is fast flowing, there will be no time to micromanage our nonverbal behaviour, and as long as our attitude is benign, that should take care of itself. It is, however, where possible, best to avoid maintaining prolonged eye contact for a number of reasons. It may simply be too intense, it may increase feelings of paranoia, and they may believe that we are reading their thoughts, inserting thoughts into their mind, or withdrawing them. Whatever, the outcome is unlikely to be positive. Once we have gained their attention, concern should be conveyed by our demeanour and not by our words. Although well-intentioned, phrases like, "You're safe," "No one's going to hurt you," "We're here to help you," can sound conspiratorial to someone consumed with paranoia. Recalling part 1, when a person hears voices, they do not become deaf to everything else. By continuing to talk loudly and simply, we not only focus their attention, but take their attention away from the voices. Once this has been achieved and they are looking towards us, we need to get in front of the delusions and paranoia and prevent these from taking over or being projected onto us. We do this by telling them our name, role and place. For example, "My name is Mary, I'm a paramedic, and we're in your mother's living room." In this way we encourage them to label us safely before the psychosis does. This is possible because, as you will recall from part 1, the psychosis slows down rather than speeds up their ability to make sense of what is going on around them. Again, recalling part 1, the client isn't so much in a different world to us as not knowing what to trust and which parts are tricks of the mind. It is very helpful, therefore, if our language can be reality checked by the client. So again, no abstract, process-oriented or emotion-based language, but language that can be verified by touch and sight. John, I'm standing here by the doorway. You're holding onto that chair and your mother is just leaving the room. This provides the client with evidence that we are not tricking them, while keeping things simple and demands low. Many people believe that it's very difficult to influence people in psychotic states, when in fact the truth is the polar opposite. They are being far too easily influenced, and that is why we have to take such care. Furthermore, the influence is not simply reactive. They respond to command hallucinations, for example, and do what the voices tell them to, often against their better judgment or wishes. Consequently, if it looks like the client is about to attack, it is far quicker, safer and effective to issue strong, immediate, unequivocal commands than to intervene physically. No! Stop! Put that down! And continue with the broken record technique until the behaviour changes. If we have preceded this with the focusing interventions mentioned so far, this will have a much greater chance of success. From here on in, we need to work slowly and step by step. Each action should be broadcast, telling the client what we are going to do before we do it. For example, John, I'm going to move towards the door now and open it, and then wait for their reaction before proceeding. If there is any sudden escalation, we return to the rapid reaction skills referred to in Chapter 5. By now, the situation should be under control, and the skills used in working with clients in a less dangerous and florid state can take over. I hope you have found these 2 videos helpful. You can find further information in my book, Facing Danger in the Helping Professions, published by Open University Press and available at Amazon and other major book retailers. Thank you.